So Ashwin, tell us a little bit about who Flingo is and what Flingo's trying to do.
Sure. So Flingo is a software company. We've built many apps on smart TVs, and it's given us great perspective on how we think we can influence change in TV from our position as a software company. Fundamentally, I think Flingo is basically about interactive TV.
So when you say interactive, you're using a type of ACR, automatic content recognition. How does that work?
Well, the ability to create interactions on TV historically has been very difficult. It's a very sort of arcane process to develop applications, to develop experiences on television in a format that's very proprietary to the industry. And so what we've tried to do with ACR is bring interactive TV out of sort of a very small controlled process into a format that's basically leveraging web standards, web technologies to build both first screen and second screen interactions that synchronize with primetime television.
Right, and so you actually sit in the television, right? You have a core set of functionality that goes in the TV, and there are APIs that the application developers can take advantage?
That's correct, yeah. So our operating system, if you will, is in the television. It's running while you're watching TV in order to give you the ability to interact with the shows that you watch. And it does so by basically taking the context of television out to the web. And so a web browser running on the television or a web browser running on your second screen can then be the platform for interactive TV to take hold.
And this isn't like normal audio fingerprinting, is it? You're using video fingerprinting?
That's correct. Yeah. So this is in the television, and because we're in the television, we can look at the visual characteristics of video, and that is a far richer place to do content detection than in the audio running through your phone or tablet, which obviously only sees part of the signal of television.
So now that means that you are storing all of this information somewhere. So you must have some data centers somewhere. Tell me about what's going on in the data centers. You've got a bunch of set-top boxes in there as well for the ingest process. Tell me what's going on there.
We made a very unusual request of our cable provider. We asked our cable provider if they'd be willing to rent us a couple hundred set-top boxes, which would make us a fairly large customer overnight. And so in several locations across the country, we've got data centers that are basically watching a lot of TV. Pretty much every channel of television in the U.S. market, national and local, we're fingerprinting 24 hours a day. And to fund that infrastructure, we raised a venture capital round, and that allowed us to go basically get this infrastructure up and running so that interactive TV could actually come to market in the smart TV world.
Cool. And so tell me how do you plan on getting in the televisions? You're already in some TVs. Which ones are you in?
We've announced relationships with Hisense, and that follows on some of the relationships that we announced in 2012, Sanyo and Signia.
Mm-hmm. So it's going to take a while for all of that to roll into the televisions, right?
Correct.
So how are you going to survive? It's going to take you've got a long time to wait before there's a lot of Flingo-enabled TVs out there.
That's correct, yeah. So it was important for us to make sure that we, as a company, had the people, the talent that was motivated and passionate about transforming television. And so in Flingo's ranks, you're going to see a lot of people who are not only brilliant engineers, designers, marketing and sales, but they're also people who are deeply passionate about the television, and they're in it to win. They're in it to win, and they're in it to stay in that fight or in that movement for as long as it takes. Adding on to that core team, we found some great investors who are also deeply passionate about television. They see the potential of what the TV advertising budget means and how that could become a potentially interesting place for a new company to play. And so they're in it for the long haul. And then we have partners who are definitely committed to the smart TV movement, whether they're manufacturers, chipset companies, software enablers, partners in the broadcasting ecosystem, the broadcasters themselves, ad agencies, everyone who's basically said, the TV is important. It's growing in its relevance to our lives, and the dollars are big and getting bigger. They're not sort of going away. And so investments need to be made both in time and money to make sure that that this movement and that the potential is fully realized.
So this is a tough thing you've taken on. What do you see as, I mean, there are many challenges, but what do you see as some of the big challenges coming up for Flingo going forward? So certainly the big engine, the big revenue engine for you going forward is the ad piece, right? Mm-hmm. How are you going to define what those ads are? How are you making that happen?
Well, for the last 70 years, the advertisers have paid the bills in the television business. And many people in the TV business have said that the product of television is actually the ads, and the shows are everything in between. We kind of take a straddled approach, which is that the core technology we're developing has to live in service of both the advertiser and the viewer. It should enable a very good viewing experience first and foremost. And if we can just nail that, if we can work with developers and creative people who want to leverage this platform in interesting ways, if we can nail that, we know that the advertiser is going to be able to benefit from that sort of one-to-one relationship, which is going to be possible with the viewer.
And a content provider can immediately start to build on the infrastructure that you're providing, because actually you don't need to do anything, right? You can have a like and share button without doing anything.
Yeah, so we started with social TV. In fact, we called ourselves, for the whole of 2012, a social TV company, more than even an interactive TV company, because what we wanted people to be able to do without even really hiring even one designer engineer, just with an intern, a broadcaster can add social features to their shows and ads. So that's all they have to do is basically tell us, here's where my Facebook page is, and here's what my hashtags are, or my Twitter accounts are. And that's all you really need to do to get started. And then that creates a social layer for all your shows, all your whole network, all your ads. And that's kind of where the ball starts to roll. From there, you can add interactive show applications, interactive network applications, and then of course there'll be the interactive advertising that comes in kind of at the end.
Cool. Thank you very much.
No, thanks for your time.